It is okay to give yourself permission to assess the fruit from those friendships. Not every friendship bears fruit.
We hope this podcast can uplift someone. It can just bring that brightness, that sunshine in their life, no matter what they're doing, what they're facing, knowing they're not alone.
We spent more mental energy trying to figure out what not to say to make them jealous than to be authentically ourselves.
Yeah, you're going to get knocked down in life. It's just a matter of get knocked down and just stay down.
If you throw a dart anywhere and then draw a circle around it, you can say you made it. But if you have a value system, a moral and ethical system in which you make decisions through, then you can draw the circle and make sure that your target is headed to make that bullseye. In there, you learn who is willing to encourage you, who's willing to give you hope and sow into you and help you in any way, shape, or form. Hi guys, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to another episode of Crazy Unbelievable Faith. I am one of your co-hosts, Brian Owen, with my wife, Kersha Owen.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you, babe?
It's awesome.
You're looking
it's been
pretty
rainy,
mighty fine over there.
It's been rainy and weird, and so, yeah, if kids are heard in the background today, it's because it's storming in the area, and so
Sorry.
They couldn't be outside. It's just, that's life. But bribery is not beneath us, I don't think. But it's okay.
What did we bribe them with today? I didn't bribe any of them.
I don't know. You
Today, I did bribe a son. No, I did bribe a son yesterday at swim practice.
Yeah,
Sure
fine.
did.
Yeah, water's been kind of cold. Again, if you have not already, please subscribe and follow. There's an awesome. The community keeps growing. We've got some awesome, testimonials from people. Some amazing stories that have been shared. Just with people that have come up to us and have visited with us. It's just pretty amazing what God is doing through this. And again, it doesn't matter faith or belief or background for people. We just want to be able to give genuine hope and encouragement, I think, for people. And
Yeah, we want to help people feel loved, feel encouraged in any kind of crazy or unbelievable phase of life, really.
Yeah.
Honestly.
yeah,
And I don't think that it's not, this podcast is not just for Christians. We want to grow God's kingdom, but we also want to edify God and edify his kingdom through this podcast. And I think that that's really important.
yeah. I mean, again, everyone comes from different walks of life. And I think that's kind of, as we get into today's episode, kind of, Kersha, I've been talking about this and thinking about it. And there's been a lot of different people in our lives that have come into play. We've had some podcasts around, who luck and the opportunity to be able to meet different people. But today, more or less, is around that, I like to dub it, the crabs in a bucket. And several of our mentors in the years past have shared things like that the crazy, there's an analogy out there. And if you're on either of the coasts of the United States, this is a story you guys already know. But the crabs in the bucket, the analogy goes that if you have one crab in a bucket, you have to have a lid on it because it will crawl out. But if you have two or more crabs in that bucket, you never have to put a lid on it because as one starts to climb out, the others are going to pull it down. And maybe you've heard that story, maybe you've read that. There's tons of different books out there, leadership books that uses that type of analogy. But I think that's kind of what we wanted to unpack today a little bit, was just being feeling. There's times that you feel like you're the crab trying to crawl out, and there's other times you feel like you're the crab pulling people, to stay at your level. And again, it's sometimes it's different days for people.
So
sometimes different seasons.
The crabs are your analogy for association.
Yeah.
You need to watch your association as you try to leverage yourself up. And I would say a lot of entrepreneurs kind of go through this phase of life where when they first start a business, all of their time, effort, energy, all of that goes to that business. That's their life or death. That's their survival. And in there, you learn who is willing to encourage you, who's willing to give you hope and sow into you and help you in any way, shape, or form that is really important. You also lose friends in that. And I just think it's really important that that analogy really exposes your association. And if you have friends who can't support you and can't help you and can't encourage you or love you through that, and really just be that seed of light in your life while you're in the growth phases, and understand that it is just that's your ride or die right now. I just think that that's really important, that you look around. You know, sometimes we're swimming, right? And we don't look up. We don't take a breath, and we don't look up and really look around us to see, are we going in the right direction? Are we carrying baggage that doesn't need to be carried into this new season of life? Are there people that were reasonal friends and not seasonal friends? Or are there seasonal friends who aren't reasonal friends? And just really making sure that the people, the weight, the movement behind you, that tidal wave behind you is pushing you forward, instead of being that tide underneath the water, underneath the surface, pulling you back.
Summertime boating analogies. This is like getting, what is it, the saying, rising tide raises all ships. And I think with that, the rising tide raising all ships, it's being open to the positivity that's going on around people. But sometimes we allow that to drag us down of, well, I'm not doing as great as them. Or, you know, people have said to Kersha and I, gosh, you guys are just so lucky. You've built houses and you've got just an amazing family. And man, we have our challenges. We have our struggles. We have our good days and our bad days. But one of those things is that we've really made a pact to, when one is down, the other always needs to be up, or at least trying to be up. I mean, again,
We're a teeter-totter.
Yeah, you're going to get knocked down in life. It's just a matter of, are you going to get knocked down and just stay down? And there was that saying of, you can get knocked down and just roll over and wet on yourself and just complain about life. Yeah. And I think sometimes there are people we come in contact with that are just, it's always kind of raining in their world. But then there's other people that you meet that it's always sunshine and rainbows in their life from the outside. But it's truly being able to kind of step into that aspect and unpack some of those things with people of, from the outside it looks like sunshine and rainbows, but is it really on the inside?
Being authentically true to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And that one being up, one being down type of analogy, like, that is something that I think, as couples, as husband and wives, as, and even, single parents listening to this, like, it is challenging because your kids feed off of you, your association feeds off of you. We had a conversation this morning actually with a guy that was talking about, coaches sports, and, that attitude, that demeanor, people can feed off, they can feel that energy, positive or negative. And so I think, kind of back to that, rising tide raises all ships. Like, that's our encouragement, is that, we hope that this podcast can uplift someone. It can just bring that brightness, that sunshine in their life, no matter what they're doing, what they're facing, knowing they're not alone. Because again, we haven't faced everything. We're not even going to pretend to think that we've faced everything. But God has tested us. We have had immense challenges that have come our way, but we stick through that. And I think there are times that people want to just throw in the towel. And that was actually a comment this morning of like, well, are we in this or are we going our separate ways? And it's kind of like, wow, that's those conversations
not
happen.
From us, from another person at coffee.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarity.
Yeah.
But I think it's the rising tides. But the other point I had on here about the crabs in a bucket is getting out of the people pile and separating yourselves from the people pile. And the people pile could be your job, it could be your church, it could be your activities if you're in softball or kids activities that you're around. That can quickly turn into the people pile. And it's, well, we're going to talk about this and we're going to gossip about that. And we are guilty. Like, I am guilty of that. Like, I am not perfect by any means. You slip into that. But you have to also be cognizant of, I've got to get out of this thing.
That's where coming up for air, taking a breath while you're just swimming through life is just so important. Mm-hmm. If you throw a dart anywhere and then draw a circle around it, you can say you made it. Mm-hmm. But if you have a value system, a moral and ethical system in which you make decisions through, then you can draw the circle and make sure that your target is headed to make that bullseye. And I just think it's really important. The association you bring with you is really important. And there have been friendships we have had to walk away from. There's also been friendships that they've walked away. And we have always looked back and said, okay, God, what's the season? What was the reason for them in our life during that season? Because if we're not reflecting back, then we're likely going to make the same mistakes, whether it was a mistake, whether it was life circumstances, maybe they moved away, whatever that looks like. People change, and it is okay to give yourself permission to assess the fruit from those friendships. Not every friendship bears fruit. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and back to that crab analogy, sometimes friendships drag you down and keep you where you are. And I just think it's really important that we assess our life. We assess where we put our time, effort, energy. Mm-hmm. We all only have a certain bandwidth. And it's not saying that because you leveled up, you have to leave everybody behind. It's saying that pay attention to those friendships and making sure that those friendships are bringing light into your life. Mm-hmm. If they're bringing light into your life, then those are friends that need to be carried on into the next season of life. I remember one of my super close friends, they were in a building season, and we just didn't see each other as much. That was okay. I still love her. I still cared for her. I still encouraged her. I still was happy for her. Whether she had more and I felt I had less or not, that's not what friendships look like. Friendships are, you're in life together through the seasons, through the tides, through the trials, through the triumphs. Mm-hmm. And she's been one of our biggest supporters in this season too, of, hey, I want to listen to your podcast. Let me know when it goes live. I want to just be an encourager for you. And those friendships, oftentimes jealousy sets in. And there have been friendships that there was a ton of jealousy and we just had to walk away because it was too much. We spent more mental energy trying to figure out what not to say to make them jealous than to be authentically ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so if you find yourself in those friendships, in those relationships that you feel like you have to tiptoe around them and you can't authentically be yourself, mm-hmm. you're running with the wrong tribe, in my opinion.
And sometimes that can be your own family. Tiptoeing around the holidays, like, God bless the holidays and, family gatherings. Like, sometimes people feel that way, that they have to walk on eggshells around people.
Yeah.
But I think those friendships, back to the authenticity piece of it, to me personally, I feel like those connections, those conversations will come natural to people. Mm-hmm. They should. And again, not that it can't be phases people go through or seasons that they go through,
right?
Like you were talking about with the building season. But it's kind of that sowing and reaping also. I mean, I think of the farming analogy. Like, it's just people have to plant. They have to till the soil. They got to do the work. then they've got to plant the seed, and then they have to, hopefully let God water the seed, let, nature take its course on the seeds.
But that takes time.
Correct. But being ready when harvest comes, and not being so distracted with, well, I just got to be over here, I'm just going to do this thing. It's going back, taking care of what needs to be taken care of, and then moving forward. And I think, those friendships that you talk about, I think about people in that bucket that, again, are succeeding, and sometimes it's hard. I'm guilty of this. I remember watching through our business, even people that would be successful ahead of us, and it's like you want to be excited for them. And on the outside I was, and on the inside, man, I was just like
bitter.
The competitiveness was there, but yes, there was a bitterness and a jealousy of like, well, why can't I have that? And it took the two of us having conversations and being open and honest with our mentors, with friends of ours that we trusted. I mean, we didn't just go around and put it on a billboard on the interstate of like, help Brian and Kersha. It was, we found those specific people and we shared that, and it took them looking at us and saying, hey, you need to go look in the mirror, because the more you are excited for other people and their growth and are genuinely in their corner, that to us, you're rewarded on the backside of that. And it may not even be in that particular arena. I remember one of our mentors had shared with us, like, you might sow and sow and sow in one spot, and you're like, man, I'm ready for the harvest, and all of a sudden it's 180 degrees different, and it's like all of a sudden something pops over here. You may not have done anything. It's like, and then friends will say, oh, you guys are so lucky. They didn't see all the sowing happening in that one spot.
Behind the scenes,
and then it shifted. And yeah, it's like the overnight successes. People always say, oh gosh, you're just so lucky. You're Instagram or TikTok, or you're just an overnight, social media success. They didn't see the 5, 10, 15 years prior to that. The Elon Musks out there, the
Bill Gates,
Bezos, all of these guys that, like, it all started small, and they just continued to grind and work at it. And that is something for me, follow up and follow through is something, it's a challenge to me. Like, it's, there's pieces that you'll get going and it's like, I get distracted and you don't come back to it. So it's kind of like that, paying attention to those things. But I don't know how I got on that random topic.
ADD. Brian had a squirrel. Yeah, that's fine.
All of a sudden, I'm going to have a pair of scissors in my hand and not know what I'm doing. It's fine. But,
why are you in the kitchen right now?
Exactly. It's the life of an ADD kid. It's fine. It's all right. It's okay. You too can be successful with ADD or ADHD. It's fine. No, I'm just, it's just playing around.
Well, no, you really can.
Yeah.
But
a piece I was thinking about with the bucket before I got on a squirrel moment.
Yeah.
Is there are people that are successful, that are growing, and sometimes we don't always encourage them. But there's a lot of people that sit with their fist closed, because it's like they're not willing to really take that risk or that leap, and they want to just say, well, all the excuses, why I can't do what they do, or why they got that and I didn't. And instead of them just being excited and being happy and opening their hands up. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sometimes I will hold on with one hand closed and one hand open.
Actually, I'm giving him this look because really, I think too, as Christians, we're going to follow Jesus and we're going to let him lead us in our life, but we hold on for control rather than let it go and let God. And I think that that's just so important that we let go and let God. Let God steer your days. Let God be in the driver's seat. And you just go for a ride with God. God will show you things and point things out to you. Lessons, reflection, prophecy. He will give you what you need to get through your day. He will get you what you need to get through your season. And the most important piece of letting go and letting God is giving that glory back to God. That is huge. So many of us are like, well, I prayed for this and God gave it to me and look, I got yada, yada, yada. No. God gave it to me. I prayed for it. God gave it to me. And look what God did. I just think that that's so important that you give it back to God. That is a praise and a worship to him. And the more you say, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did, the less God is going to bless down the road. And I just think that that's important.
Mm. Yeah, I'm excited. That's a whole podcast in itself. But
let go and let God?
Well, I'm kind of excited. We'll get my folks on here to talk about that, because it was a light bulb moment for them when you were just describing that analogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dad's head all about exploded when Kersha had this analogy that she was talking through. But yeah, that's for another episode for sure, where we can pull them on. But again, I think, the challenges that you all are facing, the struggles you might be in, the season that you might be in, whether you're a husband and wife, whether you're just a couple on your own, or you're just a single, that it's just knowing that is our belief and our hope out of this, is that it's like, how can we hopefully open a door to encourage someone, or if nothing else, it encourages you to go seek out, well, what are they talking about? What is this God thing? What's this Jesus thing? Some may not even believe in that, and they just like doing, meditation or whatever. And I think that's fine. We're not offended by that, but it's at least they believe in something, and that there's a higher power, and that they're taking the time to reflect.
We want to be the salt and the light, and we want to lead people from the front. And that's okay if you're finding this podcast and you feel lost, if you're in a dark season. We want to be able to pray for you, to encourage you through that season. That's what community feels like, is when you're able to come as you are. Yeah. But you never want to stay as you are. You want to grow. Yeah. And I think everybody wants to do that. I don't think everybody knows how to. And sometimes they just need an example of, hey, okay, what did that teach you?
Yeah. I'm going
to
go back and pin a little bit on the, and I've already lost you.
I should get you a pin cushion.
Probably should.
Because you're always doing, I'm going to put a pin in that and come back.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him a pin cushion for Father's Day.
What I was getting at was, now you're making me lose my train of thought here. Golly. You'd said something, go back, rewind you're talking about people challenged.
We want to be the salt and the light.
Salt and light. I do like salt. We like to use salt on our cooking, but no. I don't, and I lost it. That's fine. It'll come back at some point. Just keep rolling with it. That's
okay.
Fine.
Well, we're back. We're back, guys. We're back. No. Now that we've had Brian's tornado of thought processes happening here,
this is a great episode. People are
we're back. It's storming outside, and you're having a tornado of thought processes over there. Woo.
No, you're talking about the dark space they might be in. I think that see, it came back. I think that is the epitome of crabs in a bucket. Because that season, there are things that are pulling you down, and having people that can pray for you, having people that can encourage you, and there's a section on our website where you can put in prayer requests. There's a section in there of we've got all kinds of, we keep adding to the website, so but we'll make sure that there's prayer request section.
Eventually, the website will be whole.
Yeah.
But we're finding areas on the website that we would like to feed to the community, either through prayer, hope and encouragement, connection, connecting with us, either physically or via Zoom call or whatever, however we can.
Maybe it could just be people praying for me on our next podcast that his head is actually screwed on and
he's not having 15,000 squirrel moments.
Take some ADD medicine or something. I don't know. I guess whatever. But yeah. But no, that's again, it's the website is changing and evolving because we get feedback from people. Or working with Chris, and we're so blessed to work with Chris from Creator Spark, having his guidance through this, and just some of the amazing testimonials that have come from him. I'm excited to have him on at some point just to kind of share, him and his wife, but share some of their stories for sure on the podcast.
So he had an amazing story this week. That was absolutely amazing. And I do want him to come on and share that story. So I'm not going to share it. But amazing. Yes. Absolutely amazing, hands down.
But I think as we've been obedient in walking this out, it's been neat to see only in the short period of time that this has been going on, but it's been amazing to see the ripple effect from it.
Yeah.
And we're excited to see where this goes from there. So,
I've got another analogy.
Okay.
Think
Analogies.
about a snake and how a snake sheds its skin, and it's reborn, but it's reborn with a new skin. I want you to think about that if you're building a different lifestyle for you. Maybe you've just walked through addiction and God is leading you, but you're feeling alone. That isolation period is really the rebirthing period of you, where you can redesign who you are. The baptism is where you come into new life, and it's a public proclamation of what it is that you're doing. That is huge. Yeah. And so I just want to encourage anybody listening right now, today, or even in the future, that if you are waiting on God to do something for you, first of all, take the step. God can't steer a parked car. We've talked about that. Second of all, I want you to make sure that the people you have in your inner circle are encouragers, and they're not going to drown your light out. Just make sure that you also, my third point is that when you are moving through life and let's say you're building a business, or you have just gone through a nasty divorce and you're rebuilding a new life, I want you to just look back and say, okay, I am okay to be in this season. I am shedding my skin. I'm rebuilding myself, and I'm going to be stronger. And as long as I have God at the core of me, then God's going to help all along the way. He will guide you.
Yeah.
So
what's that?
Keep your hand
I'm
open.
not okay. Jelly Roll song. I'm not okay. Isn't that what it is? I'm not okay. Isn't that what he says? Something like that.
I don't know.
But like, it's being okay, not being okay. I mean, that's not his song, but it's like, to your analogy, like it's being comfortable in sitting in the season that you're in. It can definitely feel uncomfortable. I'm not a snake, so I don't shed skin, but I do get sunburned every once in a while, I guess, and peeling. So that's probably the closest I can get to as an analogy, but
that's just disgusting.
We'll roll with that.
Why did we have to go that far?
See, I think what happened,
That's gross.
here's what I think what happened. We switched chairs.
Oh.
I'm supposed to be in that chair. That is my chair. That's what happened today. So
well, little did you know that I actually switched the chairs too.
Next episode, I'll be back on that side. She'll be back on this side. And who knows, maybe somebody else on the other end of the camera. So stay connected, stay plugged in. We thank you so much for joining us today on this episode. If you have not already, click the follow button and subscribe. We have our behind the scenes stuff. There's all kinds of funny outtakes, things like that. There's pictures in there, like tons of fun things. So
there are way more of him than me.
Thank you guys.
I just only take pictures of my kids, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, she's behind the camera. I'm out doing something goofy, so it's fine. So
Goofy.
Thank you all for joining. We'll catch you next time on the next episode of Crazy Unbelievable Faith. Thanks a lot.
Have a good day. Bye.